If you can go
Right.
and beat Dallas,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter who you play in the final.
Really?
Because Dallas, Rangers, and Florida, to me, are 1A, 1A, 1A. Like
agreed.
Throw it in the pot, mix it around, pull up a Stanley Cup winner. Everybody's happy because it makes sense.
Right.
Take it away from
Sports show. Barn is alive again. Got me in my hormones. All gas, no brakes. Score 4-0. If you think you own this place, you get poor clothes.
I did. You know what? I did the first 9 holes of the season.
Well, good for you.
Went all right.
Where'd you go? Where'd you play?
It was just 9 holes at Lakeview there.
Lakeview.
Cheap to the point. A lot of par threes. A lot of power lines.
Yeah.
A lot of power lines in that golf course there. It's it's a little tricky.
Yeah. Watch out for that power line.
I'm not kidding, man. It's a city course.
Is that if you hit it, is it a stroke? Is there a rule for that or anything?
I think it's a literal stroke. Yeah, I think you might get an electro stroke.
Electrical one. You know who you should get on that is Scheffler.
Scheffler.
He'll get on it.
He'll do it. Yeah, he'll run the pole right
He'll
over.
run-
He'll run it right over. Hey, get out of my way. I got somewheres to be.
Did you see he got off?
Of course he got off.
Apparently the cop did how he went after him
body
was
cam.
incorrect.
Hey, listen here. Which cop was it? Mark Furman?
Something like that.
Anyways, speaking of cops, speaking of police, I really don't know where to go.
Yeah, there's no segue.
Yeah, maybe there is.
Maybe.
Oh, handcuff yourself to your audio waves.
Listen to that.
That's how you do it.
You there?
Because you're listening to the Sports Show, episode 308. Don't forget a few things here. If you haven't done it already, please do it. Either put pause or right at the end of the show and tell a friend. We're at 94 YouTube subscribers.
Pardon me?
Listen. You guys, we're 6 subscribers away from hitting 100. At the 100, it's easy. Listen, it's easy to make 1 million, but it's hard to make 100. We're counting on you. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm reaching out to you to get in your hearts and your minds in the name of Jesus and the Sports Show.
Jesus.
Hit that subscribe button at Sports Show Podcast.
It's
the blue and white logo.
Blue and white.
It's also on the Instagrams. That's how you find it as well.
Praise it.
Let the Sports Show find your hearts. Let the Sports Show consume you. In the name of the Brady, the Jordan, and the Lance Armstrong.
Oh, man.
Do all that, please. Sports Show Podcast. We're on Podbean. We're on Spotify. We're on YouTube. We're on the Instagram. Those are the main channels. We're also on the CJSW. If you tuned in last week or you're local in Calgary, CJSW 90.9 FM.
Right.
And some other news in related podcast world is, as you know, we do the alternate commentary table, which is part of the McGuire on Wrestling podcast feed.
Chat.
Where you can find, where you can stream anywhere where you're streaming, actually. That one's completely open source. Mike's got it going everywhere. But good news, okay, good news with him. Not only does he have the podcast, if you're in Lethbridge, so local to us is the town of Lethbridge, the CKXU, I believe, is the radio station. Mondays on the drive home from 4 to 5, you get to see McGuire's show. And we had a nice little. Did you listen to it?
I did. I did.
It
was well done. It was done.
Did you like the new commercial?
Loved it.
Yeah. Anyways, we got to get into this the show here, Mitch,
That's right.
because we're running a little late, and for the first time,
yes,
it has nothing to do with me.
It's all about me. You know, I made a mistake. Yeah. I forgot my itinerary at home, or actually my new home, Bonacera, where I've been spending a lot of time lately. I had to run there this morning and grab the papers and run back because I got to keep me and Dimitri are like stray cats a little bit. So, I mean, we love to, if we go on a tangent, we'll go. And then you never know how long that'll take or where it's going to head. And so it's better to have a little bit of format. And it's better to be this way.
That's right.
You know
That's
how
right.
it is. You know
how is the before we get in? Yeah. How's it going back?
Let me tell you something. It's like riding a bike, but it's that bike that's rusty and that bike that sucks. The gears aren't working very well. The brakes need some fixing. Overall, it's still rideable. You're still doing it.
Yeah.
But damn, son, I am not built for this anymore.
Did you go into the Bonacera and the first thing, did you say, man, I used to have this place run like a tight ship. What happened?
I 100% was saying that yesterday to some of the members. Now, things have changed over the years, right?
Right.
My brother gives me a hard time all the time. He's like, you could never handle it in here again. I kept laughing at him. I'm like, buddy, when you do a 20-year stint, you do a 20-year stint. Doesn't matter if you're doing it at Rikers or you're doing it at Spy Hill here in Calgary. Jail is jail. You know what I mean? Or work is work. He's not totally wrong and he's not totally right. Now that I got back into it, some things have changed. You got to be affiliated with some gangs. You got to. There's no way around it. You know, the crazies are running the asylum. That's the truth.
Okay.
And but overall, you keep your head.
Do the
low.
customers know who you are?
So hilarious. Watch this. I swear this happened yesterday.
Okay.
So Nick went. We have some VLTs there. Somebody brought in a ticket.
Yeah.
So Nick went to, cash a ticket. So the guy sees us. Then he had ordered a pizza as well. So he gave Nick change. Nick turns around to go get some change. I come around the corner with the pizza and I give it to the guy. Guy goes, "Oh, where's my change?" I go, "I don't give out change, buddy." And I meant it jokingly, like, I keep all the change. He goes, "What?" And then Nick came around. He goes, "Oh." He's like, "I thought you were the same guy." I'm like, "I know we look alike, but we don't look that much alike."
He thought you were the
He
Nick.
thought I was Nick.
No, he was drinking too much.
Yeah, I think
it's
so
good
too.
that he's getting the pizza.
It's time to go home, buddy.
Are you insulted by that?
I keep my number one. Nick now has stolen my line, where when people are like, "Oh, I guess you guys are brothers," which, by the way, we get all the time. So somebody change up the joke, number one. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm the older, better looking one." That's what I say.
Right.
I saw the other day, 2 days ago, he used my line.
The younger, better looking one.
He used my line.
He used your line.
He used my line.
Yeah, see, he can't do that.
He can't do that.
That's a little offside.
I created that line.
Yes.
He knows it.
If you created the line, he's got to come up with his own line.
That's right.
Because what we do know is that lines and lineups
That's right.
matter.
They do. Well done. So you know me. I'm minding my own business. I was cruising the net.
Whoa.
I said to you right before we started, I might trigger you because you brought it up once. Today's the 14-year anniversary of a gentleman named Laszlo Hanyes. Do you know who he is?
No.
He's the guy that was the first ever person to buy 2 large pizzas, I might add.
Oh, with Bitcoin.
It cost 10,000 Bitcoin, which in today's world would be $700 million. And buddy, when I saw this, I started laughing. Yeah. I was like, we all have those stories. Man, I should have bought that extra house, or I should have invested in. I knew I should have put money on Usyk last week, so on and so forth. What does this guy say to himself every freaking day?
He has to be on the first ticket to Mars when it's available.
100%.
You have to leave the planet.
You got to go.
Or you have to move somewhere where nobody knows what Bitcoin is.
Yeah.
You have to.
You have to.
In order for you to just never talk about it again.
It was all over the net, and I started reading it, and I was like looking at it, and I'm like, and it was 2 big pizzas, by the way, both cheese. So, I mean, you didn't really get even the full benefit of the good pizza.
Oh, man.
10,000 Bitcoin equals $700 million today.
Well, in behavioral finance, he actually didn't lose anything because he never owned anything. Because that's
I guess you could say that.
That's 700.
That's how he's saying it to himself.
That's right. That's the only thing that I would say to make the guy feel better. That's insane.
Insane. Like I said, we all have those stories of what you could have did. This guy's, his wife, his kids, think about it, all of them, 14 years older now. They're like, Dad, what are you doing?
Why
you
are we
didn't have a
living
20
here?
spot on you? You didn't have a 20 spot on you. Oh,
the guy was willing to take cash.
You just had to show everyone you had Bitcoin, eh, Dad? You know that Bitcoin guy's a lot like the vegan guy, is he not? Yeah. He's got to tell you he's got it.
He's got to tell you.
He's got to tell you.
Oh, by the way, I'm vegan. My name's Dimitri. Sorry, didn't catch your name. Like where you say Nick stole your opening lineup?
Yeah.
Like that's the opening lineup.
That's it. Exactly.
Hi, how are you? I'm vegan. Excuse me?
Pardon?
What?
Oh, okay. Sounds great. One last thing. Last week, we couldn't talk about it because we did the CJSW show. Great show, by the way. However, because we're in Canada, we got to do a lot of the hockey stuff. Dimitri, Usyk, Fury, last week, you stole my my pay-per-view. You watched it. Tell me about the fight. Tell the people. Don't go into heavy because once you go on your tangent on boxing, I mean, it's hard to reel you back in, but give us the rundown. Give us a little bit of the rundown.
I'm a fish that takes the line, and you got to tire it out.
It's all you, but I heard your words, not mine. One of the greatest fights of all time.
It lived up to the hype. Yeah, absolutely lived up to the hype. I think the greatest thing of the whole thing was Mitch isn't lying. I have his DAZN membership.
Yeah.
I bought the pay-per-view
with my Visa.
With his Visa. And like there's just I'm not paying him back for it.
No, I mean,
that's the thing.
I've come to this. You're like my child. I don't expect anything back.
In
now.
behavioral finance, that would be called a sunken cost.
That's right. It's gone.
It's gone.
Yeah.
It never exists. It's over. It's done. You eat it.
In fact, may I say, you use my DAZN account way more than I use it.
Yeah. I do.
Okay.
I do. Do you see when I log on? Does it show?
It does now. I made sure.
Good thing it's not Google search history. Hey, DAZN, maybe incognito mode wouldn't be a bad idea.
Hi, FBI. What?
Listen, we can understand the one goat, but 4?
He's Greek, guys. He's Greek. He's fine.
Let it go.
Let it go.
It's Easter. Hey. Okay, so yeah, it's always nice when you spend someone else's money. But it lived up to the hype. Look, they're both excellent. I think, Usyk's just one of those guys that nobody wants to give him the full credit because they just can't understand how he's going and beating the people that aren't sexy.
That's right.
Right? And what another great segue into sports and into hockey, because it's just that whole fight represented a lot of things in sports. Just because on paper,
right,
someone is supposed to win doesn't mean that they're gonna win, and you overlook the other guy. I think everyone's been overlooking Usyk for a long time.
Very much so.
From a technical standpoint,
yeah,
he's probably the best. He should be pound for pound number 1 guy right now.
Right.
He's that damn good. But I'll tell you the best part. If you go back, go look at some highlights, this, that, and the other thing. Just look at the ring entrances, you guys. The ring entrances for this fight, holy smokes.
Really, eh?
Especially if you're Orthodox and you watch Usyk walk in.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
I saw in between his rounds, he was kissing the cross.
Oh, he's a big Orthodox.
They're wiping him down, give him the grease, and then boom, kissing the
he's doing his stuff.
cross.
He's doing his cross every 4 seconds.
That's
how do you cheer against the guy?
That's a difficult one.
But yeah, the rohi, like the Constantine, like the Byzantine, emblem for Christ, like on the fur crown.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Watch it.
Hey. So do you think you're saying he's pound for pound the best? Fury gets an automatic rematch. And then I did see on the internets, actually, as I was perusing again, he has to give up one of the titles. So he won all the titles to have them for a minute, but now he's got to give one up because there's that time frame. You have to defend one in a certain amount of time or something. Did you hear about this?
Yeah. So
what's the use of getting them all if you got to give one up right away?
Yeah, well, there's not. Yeah, that's a good question. But he's already got them all, so he can already say he's the unified champion, right?
Right.
The reason that they put those in is to avoid people. The premise is to say, listen, Mitch, Dimitri's the number 1 contender. Mm-hmm. If you're gonna, and he's the number 1 contender in our organization. If you're gonna keep avoiding him, you're stripped. You're done.
Yeah. I get on one end, if he's got 10 belts, that means there's 10 different,
he's got 4.
Well, 4. Right? Okay, he's got 4
5.
belts. So meaning he's got to take on 4 guys that are number 1 contenders in those. He can't fight 4 matches in a year. I get that. But at the same time, it's kind of just one of these things where I think it's like, okay, you got it for a minute. It's like owning a Porsche. You're like, well, I had a Porsche or a Ferrari for a minute, and then I had to give it back to the dealership.
So this is why, if you look, the nitty-gritty crazy part about open source boxing is that if you look at Mayweather, I don't think Mayweather was ever unified.
Right.
But Mayweather was like, his whole thing was, hold on a second. I'm not going to fight who you tell me to fight and then have to pay and this is the thing too, pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to keep the belt from the sanctioning body.
You got to pay the bodies to hold the belt.
It's a licensing fee.
Get the hell out of here.
So that's why he's like, listen, I'm fighting this guy. Keep your belt. I don't care about your belt.
Yeah.
Everyone knows.
Well, no wonder no one wants to keep the belt.
Exactly. This is why people don't go crazy for unified.
I see. Okay.
So, if you look at Mayweather's and Canelo, the same thing, right? Well, Canelo has been unified, but it just worked out that way. But he's like, keep your belts. I'm the number one guy. Yeah. I'm going to go fight this guy for $100 million. I don't care who's in your ranking.
That's hilarious.
Keep your IBF title.
I had no idea that you had to pay to keep the belts.
Yeah.
No, of course, I'd be getting rid of all of them.
Yeah.
All of them. I'm like, I don't want them anymore.
That's why if you notice, most boxers, they always fight and they try to keep the WBC belt because the WCB body is a little more lax for who they want to fight.
They don't collect the fees as much.
They don't collect the fee, but they let them fight whoever they want. They want people to represent their title.
I get it.
Whereas like
that makes sense.
The WBO's like, nah, we have Mitch Honjas number one. He's like, yeah, but Mitch is from the village in Greece. Yeah. Like, no one's gonna buy the pay-per-view. I'll go fight Pacquiao.
Yeah.
Hey,
what's right is right, Henry.
That's the shitty part about the business of boxing.
Yeah, it sounds a little complicated.
Yeah.
Sounds a little complicated. All right. But you know what's not complicated? It's the NHL. We're off to the Eastern and Western Conference Championships. Ladies and gentlemen, it actually worked out pretty good, I have to admit. In the East, we always start with the East because we finish in the West because we got more to say. You got the Florida Panthers, number one in the Atlantic, taking on the number one seed in the NHL, the best team in the NHL, a team that we finally gave some flowers to, but we're kind of like hesitant to give it. We're giving it, but we're not.
That's right.
It's the New York Rangers. Ladies and gentlemen, series started a couple days ago. Florida takes game one in MSG. Then last night in overtime, I said overtime, the Rangers tied the series 1-1. I watched this game. I won't lie to you. I wasn't like, it's sometimes hard to get around to these games because they start so early here, like 6 o'clock. But
now you're at the Bonacera.
But now I'm the Bond, so I'm watching, and I couldn't get my eyes off it. It was. You know what? Can I tell you something? If you're going to watch a series, watch it for one reason. That's what hockey should be like. Every game. That's what I wish. Grimy, tough, open ice, the body checks that were laid out yesterday. I think somebody's dead. I can't remember which player from the Rangers got hit, but I think he's dead.
There is no margin for error
exactly
in both these series. We'll get to them. But man, there is that Rangers-Panthers.
Yes.
Holy smokes.
I'm loving it.
It's actually crazy.
Yeah.
That's the best hockey I've seen all year.
100%.
And that goal, by the way, yesterday, the overtime winner.
Yes.
Perfect shot.
Beautiful.
But can we talk about the lob pass?
Oh, beautiful.
I mean, skill.
Hey.
Oh.
Who's that? Steve Nash passing that?
Oh.
About Trouba, who's known for killing guys. He's the one that put it in the, you know what, perfect shot because the defenseman was right in front of him kind of. So a little bit of a screen, but it was, no goalie would have made that save. It was just a perfect shot by a guy that you wouldn't expect.
We'll get to the West, but in the West, similar type thing.
Very
overtime, cross-seam pass, one touch over.
But what are you looking forward to, or what are you thinking? Give me your rundown on this series. You got the two number one seeds in the East. It's kind of exactly the way the NHL would probably want it to be.
Yeah.
Who do you don't have, if you want to make a prediction, make it. It doesn't make a difference right now. But what are you thinking? Are you liking the Rangers? Are you not liking? What do you like about this game? I'll just start it off. I am loving. Can I just say this about the Florida Panthers? I know I kind of picked them, but didn't pick them, but picked them again. I am loving the Matthew Tkachuk.
Oh, man.
Being the bad guy, being the villain. And I think he plays harder when he's out on away games than he's at home games.
Definitely.
He loves and covets that role.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
I actually don't know who's going to win this series. I will say it'd be easy, of course, if Florida went into New York and went up 2-0.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, like it's over. But is it though?
Yeah.
Like here's the thing is that series is so tight.
Yes.
That I don't know. And so my whole thing is, the prediction, I'm not going to. I'll look at work. I picked Florida.
Yeah.
But am I overly confident? No. This is like, I don't know what to tell you. These are so two evenly matched teams. The goaltenders are 10 out of 10. The defense is there. The forwards are there. The lines are rolling. Like everything about each one of them. All I could say is when you're picking and you're cheering for teams, there comes a point when the dust settles.
Yeah.
And you realize that the best teams and the teams that actually should be there are there, and these two are them.
Yes, 100%.
Where maybe we thought a Boston, what if a Tampa Bay's got a resurgence? And it doesn't matter who.
Right.
These are the best two teams in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah. Oh, by far.
That's
and
it.
they're showing. You know, where you said it's so tight, you're not wrong. I was actually doing that pros con thing where like going through goalies. Both goalies to me, even give them check mark each. Defense,
I might give defense to Florida.
Maybe. But see, I could see I could see somebody giving the check mark to the Rangers. But let's give it to Florida. But then you look at the forwards. You want to we bring them up all the time. The Tkachuk, the Bennett, the Reinhart. But then you got Panarin, Zibanejad. You know, you got the Rempel. Like, I know he just came into the last game, but when you kind of look at the overall scheme of things in both teams, like right down the middle, it will go Game 7, overtime, and it's going to be like a deflection off a skate that'll go in. And I don't know who it's going to be.
Yeah,
it's literally roulette. In this. The only thing I'll say to the Rangers is this. Last night you guys end up winning, and I think you guys did what I think you were after I saw in Game 1. The one thing you guys lacked in Game 1, you guys are a good team all the way around, but you're not as nasty. You're not as grimy, but you did in Game 2.
Yeah.
You got a little nastier. You keep that up, that's why this will go 7. At the end, I really don't know. I'm with Dimitri on this one. I don't know. Obviously, I picked who I picked originally. That's who I'll stick with, but I don't care who wins. I think both are going to be a great representative heading into the Stanley Cup, whoever it might be.
Love it.
We head over to the Western Conference Final. Now, we left you last week. It was, I can't remember if it was Game 6, I think it was. Vancouver had the Oilers on the ropes. They go back to Edmonton. And Vancouver literally crapped the bed. They did nothing. I think they had 11 shots in the whole game. Didn't say it. They were playing with the house money. They said, you know what? Forget it. We're going back on Monday. We're in Vancouver. It's fine. They get to Vancouver. Brock Besser, turns out the guy's got blood clots. They're like, hey, best player on Vancouver or second best player next to J.T. Miller. You got to sit out. You can't play. What? Can't believe it. And you know what? You would think that would rally the troops a little bit. And again, first 2.5 periods, it was Edmonton all day, every day. The fact that it wasn't 5-0, I was surprised.
I agree.
And then Edmonton ends up winning 3-2. Vancouver late run. Look, Vancouver, you had them. I'm actually mad at you. Why? Because I don't know what to do with the Oilers now. We'll get to that in a second. But truthfully, I don't know what to do, Dimitri. Edmonton now taking on the Dallas Stars. Game 1 happened a couple nights ago. And what they did is they awoken the beast. The beast is awake. He's always been awake. He's leading the team in the league and scoring in the NHL playoff race, and that's in McDavid. But you woke up the beast, and he's mad.
So we were talking at work. I was talking with the CD.
Yeah,
and he's like, what are you thinking? Because he goes, are you still going to stay on your Dallas pick?
Right,
here?
you got to stay on.
And I go, look, I still think Dallas is the. I still think Dallas and Florida are the best overall teams in the NHL.
Yeah, come on.
But in the West, I go, still Dallas. I go, here's the thing. I go, you got Ottinger that could just steal you a game.
He got you.
But then he goes.
Right.
Yeah, winning 1-0 is great. But you also got a guy that could pop 5 if he wants.
I know.
Right? And so, they did awake the beast.
Yeah.
Look, I'll tell you, I was very impressed with Edmonton.
Yeah.
Game 1 against Dallas. Very impressed. They played hard. They played tight. Again, no room for error.
Right.
On both those sides. Like, if you look at Edmonton's goals, it was because Dallas messed up.
Yeah.
If you look at Dallas's goals, it's because they were lucky bounces and
that's right.
or Edmonton screwed up. Other than that, guys, this was a 0-0 game.
That's a good point.
Going into overtime.
Yeah.
So, I thought Skinner stepped up. He looked good. Is he consistent, though?
I don't think he's...
Big question mark. But when you give McDavid a 4-minute double minor, high sticking penalty in overtime.
Yeah.
And that guy is sitting on the bench.
Yeah.
Fuming, boiling.
And rejuvenated.
And just looking at me like, you're going to give me, like, where he was yelling.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. And if you can't score, listen, honey, sugar babies, you guys, yes, Dallas is my pick. But you don't. If you're going to go and punch the big kid in the mouth, you better knock him out because McDavid is pissed.
He is not happy.
And I'm telling you.
That's right.
If there's ever a time that he could do it, Dallas, watch out.
Yeah.
Like, watch. Like, that's all I got to say.
That's all I kept watching. Him and Draisaitl. So they finish off Vancouver in those last 2 games, right? They need the 2 games to win, and they did. And that's all I saw. Draisaitl, McDavid, Draisaitl. That's all I saw. Back and forth. So I said to myself, okay, heading into Dallas is stacked. Top to bottom. They're looking good. That's what everyone keeps talking about. Cycling the puck. That's all I hear. Blah, blah, blah. They're good. When those two guys have an agenda and those two guys are on, it doesn't matter how good your team is. And when you got, to your point, and a very good one, if McDavid is sitting for 4 minutes, he's recharging his battery, he's yelling. He never yells. When the quiet guy starts yelling, be scared. Be scared. And when he's easily the most talented guy on the ice across the NHL, be more scared. Oh, you guys just woke up the beast.
And who scored the OT winner?
On a pass. It was like a pass.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it was McDavid.
And, buddy, you know what made him even more mad? Right before that, he thought he was going to shut it down earlier, and he just got, by the hair of their chinny chin, Tanev and the goalie get their stick on just by bare. But the funny part is, that just made him more mad. He's like Thanos. He's just gaining in power. He's just gaining in power.
Like McDavid's going to walk out and be
now, some people are going to say, well, Vancouver almost got, yeah, you're right. And some teams just have other teams' numbers.
Yes.
But as good as Dallas is, I'm a little, as a guy that, again, Edmonton fan. Do I want to see you guys lose? No, I don't want to see you lose.
He doesn't.
But you have to admit, you guys know you're not as good as Dallas.
Yeah.
Paper to paper.
Yeah.
But I am starting to learn one thing. When you're a superstar, maybe that's really what you kind of just really need in all the ingredients. Like you need salt in almost everything you make. And then the rest of the stuff can follow. McDavid, if he does again, Dimitri, what he does, I might be on that. Where I keep talking about the third and the fourth liners, and they got to be good, and they got to be strong. I don't know, man. If just a McDavid and Draisaitl are just that good, maybe that's all you really need.
You know, maybe. You got to be deep. There's no question. But at least, look, the Oilers are deeper, okay, than they've been ever.
Right.
This is the best Oilers team in the McDavid era.
Oh, for sure.
100%. No question about it. It just, you guys, if you're gonna, like, I'm a little worried for Dallas.
I would be too. I would be, because you guys, you really don't have a reason to lose to them outside of those two guys. You do have guys that can kind of watch and contain McDavid, but if the guys that you thought were gonna like somewhat keep him at bay are not, yeah, you guys got a problem.
Yeah,
you got a major problem on your hands.
You got a big problem. You know what I'm loving in Edmonton that's playing amazing?
Who's that?
Is Ekholm.
Oh yeah.
He's.
You know, he doesn't look like much. What I mean by that, everyone keeps saying he's a stay-at-home defenseman, but he made this one play. I think it was on a power play. He passes and then he kind of beeline for the front of the net.
He was buzzing.
You wouldn't expect that from this guy, right? No. You know, there was some plays that he's making. But I think the guy that I'm most impressed with, though, if you're going to go down this train, Bouchard. I mean, how is it that this guy gets his stick on the puck? It seems like, I know they put the little tracker on there. They're like 80, 90 miles an hour. It seems like there's 110 mile an hour shots every time.
Yeah.
Like this guy is maybe got a shotgun attached to his stick. It's crazy.
Weren't they saying he got some kind of record? Isn't he like the first defenseman to have X amount of points or so? I can't remember. They were throwing something on the screen the other day. But anyways, the thing is Edmonton, this is Edmonton's chance.
Right.
They're not getting closer than this. And if they can beat Dallas, so the one argument is, okay, out of the 4 teams that are left, the Edmonton Oilers are the weakest on paper. Can we agree with that?
I think so. Yeah, I would say that. Yeah.
Okay, from a roster standpoint. Yeah. Okay, if you can go and beat Dallas, it doesn't matter who you play in the final.
Really?
Because Dallas, Rangers, and Florida, to me, are 1A, 1A, 1A. Like
agreed.
Throw it in the pot. Mix it around, pull up a Stanley Cup winner. Everybody's happy because it makes sense.
Right.
So Dallas, this is.
Let me ask you this. This is the question I've been working on all week. Okay, we found out that Edmonton is going to play Dallas. Vancouver gets knocked out. Edmonton's the final Canadian team.
Yeah.
Everyone's been talking about.
Yeah.
What do we do? Do we cheer for Edmonton or do we stick to our guns being here in Alberta? Like, I can understand a guy from Manitoba going, no, I got to cheer for the Oilers. I get it. Guy from Saskatchewan, I got to cheer for the Oilers. Guy from Vancouver, I doubt it, but maybe. But here in Calgary specifically, is it a guilty pleasure of ours? Do we kind of want Edmonton to win it?
Yes, we do. And we should cheer for Edmonton.
Really?
Yeah, and I'll tell you why. You want to know why, you Calgary fan? Because you're the same people that give standing ovations to every other person that comes into our barn.
Preach it, son.
So at the end of the day, we can at least cheer for the Oilers. You might as well, because if we traded, we basically traded everyone to every Stanley Cup contender to begin with anyways.
Good point.
Okay?
Yeah.
So even if we traded, I don't know, if Huberdeau went to the Oilers, as much as we hate Huberdeau here, they'd come back and be like, hey, welcome.
Hey, you know, he really sucked over here, but look at him rejuvenated over there.
Good guy.
All I'm going to say this. I'm going to say kind of this. If Edmonton goes to the Stanley Cup Finals, how fun would it be to watch Matthew Tkachuk taking on the Oilers? Just saying. I just feel like he would be that guy that Calgary would be cheering for like crazy.
Oh.
And like we're talking, because him and Edmonton just never liked each other in the beginning. They were just a bad relationship from the get-go. Dude, that guy could maybe rejuvenize the whole thing. He might be able to do everything. We might give him Grand Marshal to the Stampede. Just throwing that out there. We'll
give him the Grand Mitchell to the sports show.
Hey, there we go. You know what? You know, as cool as that is, you know what's cooler? If you get on the killer list.
Oh.
There we go. Brought to you by Sinatra's. 403-452-7222. Wyatt Johnson at number 5 from the Dallas Stars. This kid, a horse. This kid is young. He's making no money, but for some reason he thinks his hair's on fire. Loving this guy.
Dallas's Johnson is playing big.
At number 4, it's the guy I just talked about. It's Matthew Tkachuk. Enough said.
Move on.
Number 3. Listen, as good as McDavid is, he needs a guy. And Leon Draisaitl is showing up, son.
Draisaitl or Goose?
At number 2, he had a big game in game 1, and just as good, even though they lost yesterday. Bobrovsky at number 2.
Best goalie?
Right now, he's looking good.
Looking good.
Or.
What?
What?
I know where you're going.
And at number 1, guess what? I just added another guy. There's 2 number 1s. The first one is a guy from Edmonton. His name is Connor McDavid.
Yeah.
He's got to be number 1. But there's also one other guy that's number 1. Why? What? Because with 1 second left in the game, they inbound the ball. Darnage for 3 on Rudy Gobert's face.
On your face. And in Slovenian, you can't effing guard me.
Buddy.
Dude. I love how Don just made the killer list.
I had to add him.
Let's pivot there for a second.
That's where we're going.
Listen. What Euroball?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Where do you want me to start?
He's on fire.
Yeah, man.
He's on fire.
He's playing. Well, see, here's the thing. The first 2 series, they were complaining he wasn't doing a lot. Okay? And it was kind of true. He's a little injured. He wasn't scoring a lot. Kyrie was kind of there some games. Donich was there some games. Some other guys picked it up. This now playing Minnesota, it's like anything else. When you're playing a team like Minnesota, who, by the way, these 2 guys, these 2 guys, what did we say? Watch out for the Timberwolves. Just say it.
Hey.
Talented. And their defense. You know, I didn't realize how great a defense they play. Now they're taking on Dallas, and a lot of people are like, Dallas, they're lucky. They just got a better, easier schedule, blah, blah. No.
Yeah, come on.
Donich and Irving are starting to now meld in the conference final.
And
so that's...
Yes, and here's the thing. The Mavericks finally found a guy to actually complement what he's doing over there.
That's right.
Right? Because the thing is, and you know, a lot of people, they were giving him flack the first 2 series, and maybe he was playing a little bit strategic because they've been there before. How many times? They always make the playoffs. They're either out round 1 or round 2.
Right.
They can't get over the hump. It would have been really cool to see, the Denver Nuggets, right? You have Jokic and Doncic playing. That would have been amazing. But the Timberwolves, I mean, this is and the whole easier schedule thing, that doesn't count in the playoffs, guys.
And it's not an easier, just because you don't know who Oklahoma is. Oklahoma was the number 1 seed.
Thank you.
So it doesn't matter what you guys think or say. it is what it is. They were the number 1 seed.
But he's on fire. He's dialed in. And when you see, look, we talked about Connor McDavid, right? When you wake up the beast, like fully, Doncic, the other game, like just to stuff it in the face.
Yes.
I mean, he was fired up.
Oh, dude, I've heard he's a little chirper. Like, he can chirp a little bit, right? He likes to do that. But to do, like, okay, a second left in the game, inbound the ball, 3 on the defensive player of the year's head, who's a 7-footer, who reached out to try, like, it was the perfect shot.
Yeah.
I don't remember the last time I saw somebody then verbally attack the guy. Like, that's street ball stuff, and I loved it.
Thank you.
That's what the NBA wants. That's what we all do on the courts. We yell at each other like that. And just because you're playing in a professional league and all that, yeah, I get it. But you can't help that emotion, man, because that is a shot. That was the shot of shots.
But that's part of sports,
that's
man.
Right.
I just wish that was LeBron James he was chirping.
Oh.
Because
come on. I'm going to go right here. That would have been amazing. That would have been great. It's, when
what about the other side? What do you think?
Boston got a wake-up call. Boston, I said this a couple of episodes ago. Boston is like Edmonton. This is your last chance. Yeah. This is your last chance. If you can't win right now, and to say that Indiana is not a good team, they're actually a very sound, good team. I was talking to Big Data about it. But at the same time, you're also talking about a Boston team that, Porzingis is out right now. Yeah. Brown is playing out of his mind. White's playing really well. And Tatum hasn't even got to where I think most people want him. So Boston, you really don't have an excuse. I really do believe, without it saying out loud, it's your title to lose to some degree.
Yeah.
But I'm loving what's going on in the West right now. I'm not even watching the East that much, I'll be honest.
I actually, it is Boston's championship to lose.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, it is.
I will say this. I was really hoping that the Knicks would go. But the Knicks just cannot be. Who are the Knicks use them as a comparable?
Carolina.
They're Carolina. You guys are so close. You're there. And the thing is, the NBA really needed you guys. When New York basketball, forget about hockey for a second. When the Knicks are winning, man, that city is a different place. The NBA is a different feeling. It's fun. There's something about it. It's too bad because the Knicks really. It would have been great to see Knicks in the Eastern Conference, and dare I say the NBA final. That's it.
I mean, come on. Could you imagine a place where you got Boston and New York?
Oh, this is what I'm talking about. On top of that scenario.
Back again?
Hey, forget about it. Forget about it.
Whoa.
Hey, real quick, I
play
saw
some
this
basketball.
Yesterday. What's a better rivalry? Boston, LA, or Calgary, Edmonton? I just made that up in my head.
Oh, that's a good one. Boston, LA. And I'll tell you why, because at the time when the rivalry was there, they were both even for longer.
Yeah. Yes.
Right? Whereas Edmonton, let's call it what it is. Like there was a few year window where Calgary was competitive, but Edmonton was always the big brother in that rivalry.
That's right.
Whereas the Lakers and the Celtics, I mean, that was, you don't know. You were rolling the dice.
You're 100% right. No, it's true. And you got to watch that, what is it? I think it's on Crave. It's the Lake Show or whatever it's called. It's kind of showing you how the Lakers got formed and then this rivalry starts. It's actually great. And Chiklis is in it, Greek guy. He plays right at Arbok. Anyways, we're off to rapid banter. Sheldon Keefe, the old Maple Leafs coach, is now the new coach of the Devils. Good move or bad move?
I think the Devils got worse.
Craig Berube, old coach of the Blues, is now the new coach of Toronto. Good move, bad move.
Why does he always look so mad?
Rod Brindamore is staying with Carolina. Good move, bad move.
He's so hot right now.
A lot of coaching stuff going on in the NHL.
A lot of coaching.
What's more dangerous, Connor McDavid, a pissed off Connor McDavid, or two good third and fourth lines?
A pissed off wife.
Charges were dropped against Scotty Scheffler. Conspiracy or the law is the law.
Par for the jail cell.
Turn on a woman. What's a bigger turn on? A woman that likes wrestling or a woman that can change your oil?
Aren't they the same thing?
Yeah, I guess that's right. Last one. What's better, Gabagool or Prosciutto?
Ooh, the gabagool.
Hey! So my reels are weird.
It's a better cold cut to eat.
You know what? This is the thing. I watch a lot of reels, and these Italian guys are always making sandwiches on my reels. I don't know what I clicked, but that's all I get now. Sandwiches.
You know, there's one guy, I think there's the same guy too. He's got like a crazy New York accent.
Yeah.
And he always makes sandwiches, but they don't look that good.
Oh, really? Oh, dude, the ones I watch, all of them are making great sandwiches. But this is the thing. Yeah. I am not joking you. Their sandwiches are like this thick and this big. And I'm like, crazy. Who eats this much carb? Like, I'm not the skinniest guy in the world. I can't even eat that much carb. It's crazy.
Only in the bulk phase.
Buddy, I tell you, it is unbelievable. I mean, it's a lot of meat and carb. Oh. What are you guys up to over there? The gabagool. All right, it's Maga Malaka time. Here we go.
Okay.
I said it earlier. It's guilty pleasures. Right now, do we cheer for Edmonton? Do we not cheer for Edmonton? It's Maga Malaka, guilty pleasures.
Be careful here.
Here we go. Procrastinating. Maga or Malaka?
Malaka. Listen, it is a guilty pleasure. It doesn't do anyone any good. But you know what? You get those dopamine hits from time to time from procrastination. It's weird.
It's weird, isn't it? I have to admit, I hate it, but damn, it feels good to procrastinate sometimes.
Yeah, it's good.
Binge watching TV, Maga or Malaka?
You know what? I'm going to go Maga. When you have the time and you get in the mode, it's cool. Oh. But if you're doing it too often,
right,
that's the ticket.
What's too often, though?
Well, you know, sometimes...
And how many episodes is considered a binge? 2, 3?
Minimum 5.
5? Well, who's got time for that?
That's a binge watch.
If you binge watch 5 hours, you might as well start playing golf.
This is what I'm saying. That's a binge watch.
That's a binge watch.
You know, I always say, there's people you talk to. They're like, have you seen this show? No. Oh, you got to watch this. They like, I look at some people go, how many shows do you watch?
Right.
Like, how do you find the time to actually watch those shows? Midnight. That's messed up to me.
Sleep apnea. That's what it is. Sleeping in late. Maga or Malaka?
Maga.
You know what?
We don't do it very often anymore.
I never do it anymore. I don't think I can anymore, man. I can't. I just, my body just goes, get up, bro. Get up. You're not, because you know what? In the back of your mind, you know your wife's downstairs or your kid's downstairs, and you're like, you're going to pay for it in some way or another. Yeah. Just get up and go. Just go.
So here's the thing, right? Yeah. You look forward, you think, oh, when you have kids and when you're busier, you want to sleep in more. Until you realize that when you wake up even earlier on the weekends, there's nobody there.
That's when it's really a sleep in.
That's the sleep in.
That's the sleep in.
The coffee.
Oh.
No one's talking.
Oh.
You just hear a bird chirping outside. Ah!
You're missing one thing.
No, I'm not. You know, I know. It's earpods in, door locked. But you know, but life's good. Yeah. So you got a second coming. Hey?
Yeah, it's awesome. Well done. What about watching sappy movies? Maga or Malaka?
Guilty pleasure, Maga.
I love it too. I love it too.
Hey.
I don't care. Backdraft, greatest sappy movie. Armageddon. You want to see me cry?
Stop it.
You want to see me cry?
Throw the Notebook my way. I dare you. I dare you.
Catchy songs. Maga
all day long. In front of people.
Tell me you're not doing the hand moves. Hey, Macarena. Yeah.
And if you tell me halfway through me doing that and Mitch dancing, you didn't come in,
come on.
Get out.
Yeah.
Unsubscribe.
No, wait, take it
back. If you subscribe to the sport show, we already appreciate that.
How about you're on the YouTube, you're watching the sports show, you finish binge watching the sports show, then you get down the conspiracy worm trade. Maga.
Malaka.
No, Maga.
No.
It's
no
Maga
mas.
all day.
No mas.
It's the best.
No.
It's the best.
No. Stay away.
It's the best.
Stay away, you guys.
I just want to say something about the flat earth guys. You ain't so crazy sometimes.
Stay away.
I can see what you're doing. I see what you're up to, flat guys. I see. But seriously, flat guys, come on. Seriously? You think the world's flat.
Yeah, they do. They think it's like flat.
But, okay, let's pretend it is flat for a second. Who cares? What does that have to do with anything? Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Well, here's my thing.
Yeah.
Okay?
Oh, sure.
So the Earth is flat,
Okay.
right? So
Sure.
you have all these flat earthers. They're like, guys,
Yeah.
it is flat.
Flatter than a pancake, yeah.
Great.
Okay.
Fine.
Sure.
Then why don't any of you fly
Right.
to where you think it stops?
Right.
Like, you could just go there
Right.
and have a look.
Take a look.
And if it stops,
Right.
then you know you're wrong. Like, why is no one fact-checking themselves? You know the Earth's flat. Okay, well, where's the edge of the Earth then?
Right.
Well, it's in Calgary, Alberta. Well, then fly to Calgary.
Do you know what I think about these
do you
flat
see
Earth
what
guys?
I mean?
I do. I totally do. Can I just give a suggestion to all those guys that are that passionate and believe in this? Be salespeople, because you're so passionate and so adamant
Right.
about it. You guys should be selling like tile or floor mats or something. Like, you guys could be millionaires just on the, like,
Yeah.
I would buy from you because I'm like, listen, Kat, the guy said this is the greatest floor mat of all time.
Yeah.
And if you saw his eyes, you would also agree that this is the greatest floor mat.
And it's a flat mat.
And it's a flat mat.
It's not a round.
No, it's not round.
No, it's not
He
a
made
3D.
sure to tell me it's a flat mat.
So this is what I could never get behind.
Right.
So all the flat earthers, not one of them,
Right.
has gone to the edge
Right.
and taken a video.
Well, Dimitri, it's not cheap to get to the end of the earth, okay? It's not cheap.
I see how many hits they get. They're making money on the tube.
That's a good point. And they're making millions. And we can't get 100 subscribers? We can't get 100 subscribers?
Because all you guys are watching the dumb flat earthers.
Last one. Maga or Malaka, guilty pleasure,
Maga.
wrestling.
Oh, sorry.
Wrestling.
I thought you were going somewhere else. Maga, of course. And you know what's the best wrestling show out there?
Yeah.
The alternate commentary table on
It's
the
true.
McGuire on Wrestling podcast feed.
Coming up soon. There it is. Maga Malaka. Conspiracy. Guilty pleasure.
Yeah, you know what? We're having such a good time. You're fumbling with
I'm
your words.
fumbling
I
the word.
get it.
Oh, fumbled on the one. Oh, look at that.
Hey, it's because he's eating too much gabagool. Listen, why don't you gabagool your way to Sports Show Podcast? Look for the blue and white logo, hit the subscribe button, have some fun, look at some reels, listen to some pods. Ladies and babies, thank you very much for listening. Another episode of the Sports Show 308. It's one for the books. We got to shove it in the locker. We do got to hit the showers. Oh, that was so funny.
Talk to you later, guys.
That was actually really funny.
I don't know what you think is funny. That was like, I was there. I was where you were talking.
That might have been.
I took myself there.
That might have been your best bit, 2024.
I don't know what bit you're talking about. That was real what I just did.
I think your bits is what I'm talking about. Oh, it's a family show.
She don't know the difference between this and them. Now you about to witness. Where freedom is so now.
W, we're Saved by the Bell by the Sports Show, playing every week. Podbean, Spotify, iTunes, Sports Show TV, at Sports Show Podcast. Amy, do it. At Sports Show Podcast.
I'll be locked in.